prayer. Let us put ourselves in the presence of our Lord.
Ikaw, Jesus, ang tinapay ng buhay pinaspasan, hinatik inialay. Buhay na ganap ang sa aming kaloob at pagsasalong walang hanggan.
Basbasan ang buhay naming handog, naway matulad sa pag-aalay mo. Buhay na laman ng lubos, sa mundong sa pag-ibig ay kapos.
Ikaw, Jesus, ang tinapay ng buhay pinaspasan, hinatik inialay. Buhay na ganap ang sa aming kaloob at pagsasalong walang hanggan. Marapatin sa kapwa maging tinapay, kagalakan sa nalulumbay, katarungan sa naaapi, at kanlungan ng bayan mong sawi. Ikaw, Jesus, ang tinapay ng buhay pinaspasan, hinatik inialay. Buhay na ganap ang sa aming kaloob at pagsasalong walang hanggan. At pagsasalong walang hanggan.
Christians, pray for us. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Good afternoon, educators. This is Reggie Bundang, your moderator for this afternoon. Welcome to SalesianaBooks Chalk Talk Online. SalesianaBooks Chalk Talk is a teacher training program that Don Bosco Press provide its partner schools. Despite this pandemic, we continue to move forward and make the most out of this challenging situation. That is why we are now bringing to you Chalk Talk and making it online. So thus, we are now calling it Chalk Talk Online. Our session for today has been a blockbuster hit in our Facebook page. This only goes to show that our topic for today, Introduction to G Suite, is very much needed by our educators at this time when remote teaching and learning is going to be the new normal. And so, Chalk Talk Online is going to bring to you today a certified Google for Education instructor to help us to know how to maximize Google for Education tools. This is going to be the first of a number of Google for Education series that SalesianaBooks Chalk Talk Online is organizing for you, our valued clients. To tell us more about this and to formally welcome you all and to introduce our keynote speaker for today, may I now call the Executive Director of Don Bosco Press Incorporated, Brother Carmelo Martinez, Salesians of Don Bosco. Got it,
Friends,
brother.
how are you? Yes. How are you all? How are you this afternoon? I just have a simple poll for you to answer. Okay. So we're happy that glad and excited are there are many participants in this session who are either glad or excited, and that no one is sad. 2% might be anxious, but it's okay. In a special way, we welcome members of the Don Bosco Press family, our consultants, authors, representatives from our school partners, employees, and friends. Thank you for choosing to spend this time with us. It is a rather unholy holy hour because it's time for siesta and for rest. But we appreciate your being here with us this afternoon. We are happy as well that others, non-DBPI clients, take interest in this learning session. I am certain that with the input of our speaker and with your feedback, questions, and comments later on, this Chalk Talk online on G Suite for Education will not only be educational and enriching, but enjoyable as well. This Chalk Talk series is the fruit of our collaboration. Thank you, Sir Gary, for this wonderful partnership. This is just the first in a series of several sessions aimed at assisting educational institutions transition to multiple learning modalities. I hope that you will be joining us in the following sessions on G Suite for Education that we have scheduled. I believe that this pandemic is forcing us to face online technology and use them to our advantage. I am sure that many of us are still anxious and perhaps hesitant to fully utilize and maximize these available online technologies in our teaching. That is why we thought of having this series of sessions to assist teachers in gaining confidence and competence in using these tools in facilitating learning. COVID-19 has affected us negatively in so many ways. May this training allow us to take advantage of our situation and turn what is seemingly negative into something fruitful and productive. We from Don Bosco Press hope that this series on Google Suite for Education will be of assistance to all of you who are finding your way in this rather trying and at times terrifying reality that we find ourselves in. In facing difficulties, we are certain to find strength in learning from each other, in collaborating and coming together, and in helping each other to adapt to our new situation. I was informed that we are around almost 500 participants gathered here today, this afternoon. Through a simple poll, again, kindly please identify where you are right now. Are you from Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, or perhaps even outside the country? Thank you so much for for identifying your location right now. Yeah, we have representatives even from outside the country, and we have also from Luzon, from Visayas, and from Mindanao. Welcome to this Chalk Talk Online. Once again, welcome to this first session of the G Suite for Education series. We wish you all the best. And if you would find this online seminar enriching, please share the news to others and invite them in the following series, which is scheduled every other Friday. So that's already our date. Every other Friday, we will have our G Suite for Education series. Thank you very much. See you all in the next SalesianaBooks Chalk Talks online. And let me end by quoting the revered Steve Jobs, who said that technology is nothing. What's important is that you have faith in people, that they are basically good and smart, and if you give them tools, they'll do wonderful things with them. We at Don Bosco Press believe in the greatness and the goodness of the Filipino educator, and that we are certain, given the proper technology and training, you will all make wonders. Have a wonderful time immersing yourselves in technology this afternoon. Magandang hapon po at mabuhay kayong lahat at pagpalain tayo ng poong may kapal. It is also my responsibility but my honor as well to introduce to you our facilitator, our speaker this afternoon. And he is Mr. John Gary Garcia. Mr. Garcia is a professional educator with diverse experience and strong track record of fostering student-centered curriculum and collaborative learning. He has been a teacher for 20 years now, having taught at St. Pedro Poveda College, at the Holy Spirit Academy of Malolos, and at the Bulacan State University, to name a few. He has handled various groups of learners, from grade school to college students to professionals. He also coached teachers in integrating technology in the classroom and has participated as trainer, resource speaker in various educational technology summits and conferences here and abroad. Mr. Garcia completed his bachelor's degree in business administration, major in computer management from the National College of Business and Arts. He took his teacher certification program at De La Salle University, Manila, and earned units for his Master of Science degree in Information Technology from the La Consolacion University of the Philippines. Sir Gary is a Google for Education certified trainer and innovator. He is likewise a certified Google for Education Innovator Program Coach, Southeast Asia 2019 cohort. In this connection, Sir Gary is also a Google certified educator group leader and a Microsoft Office user specialist and an Apple authorized training center consultant. Having heard his credentials, I strongly believe that we are all in good hands this afternoon. Friends, let us warmly welcome Mr. John Gary Garcia.
And I'm glad I was invited by Brother Melo to be one of the speaker for their webinar series about technology integration. Um, I'd like to show you may I have my slides, please? Okay, so this session is all about an introduction to G Suite for Education. Okay, as mentioned by Brother Melo, thank you for the introduction. I'm a father. I'd like to highlight that I am a father aside from being a techie person, and I'm still learning a lot of things. No, so I'm a lifelong learner. So for this session, I know that everyone is asking what Google can do and what is G Suite for Education. So let me start by posing a question and telling you more about it. So what is G Suite? It is a cloud computing productivity and collaboration tools developed by Google, launched on August 28, 2006. So it is based on cloud. So what does it mean? You don't need to have other devices, or you don't need to have a flash disk for you to carry your files because it's cloud based. Okay. So this session is basically to address the needs of the distance learners and how can a school conduct distance learning. So G Suite is a perfect tool. Why? What now? You might ask, what do I need to get started? So I encourage everyone to apply for G Suite for Education account. And you might ask how much it is. It's for free. Okay. So it is given by Google for free for all non-profit organization and educational institution. So what you need to do is just apply for the account, and what you need to invest on is for the training. Okay, with the devices, it works in any device. Okay, so why is it free, you might ask? So Google's corporate mission is to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. That is why they are giving it for free. Okay, so there's nothing to pay with regard to the account. Okay, now maybe you'll ask also, what do I need to get going? So very basic. You need a computer device, whether it's a laptop or desktop. It can be it can be Microsoft or it can be Windows. It can be Apple. It can be Linux. It can be anything. As long as it's a computer or a smart device, you can make use of it to use G Suite for Education. Of course, you need to have a reliable internet connection because it is cloud-based, and a Chrome browser basically for desktop and laptop. Okay, so why G Suite for Education? Because you can work anywhere with G Suite apps, meaning you don't have to be in the same location with your collaborators to work on a document. Okay, so you might also ask other questions like, uh, so it works in any device, you can work in any location, and it works in any platform, as I mentioned earlier. Now, if you have an existing device, existing files like Microsoft Office, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, so you might ask, can you edit your Microsoft Word? Yes, you can edit your existing Microsoft Office files using Google Docs, Google Sheets, and Google Slide, which I will talk about later, more in details later. Okay, so maybe for me to exhibit how it is done, how do you work collaboratively? Maybe I'd like to ask you to visit the link. Okay, so for those who are using desktop or laptop, you may create a new window or a new tab, and then you type the URL provided. Okay, so you will see how collaboration works when you use uh, G Suite tools. Okay, so I will also type the URL, and you will see that if you are able to do that, if you're able to enter the document, okay, let me double check some settings. So kindly visit the URL, and may I ask you to can edit. Okay, I'm waiting for anyone who can access the document. Now, for those who can access the document, can you please share your nickname on the first column? Type your name on the first column, and then type your on the second column. You type your favorite quotation. Maybe I'll share the screen, my screen. Okay, so let me share my screen. So for those who cannot access the document, if you're using a mobile device, let me share my screen. Let me share what is happening right now in the document, in the URL that I have visited. So we have now, okay, so we have now people, a number of people who visited the document, and that is what when I say collaboration, this is what I mean by collaboration. So one document, a lot of people are editing the same document. So that is what I mean by collaboration. So we are situated in our own, we are comfortable in our own home, no? But you can see we can work together even though we are not in the same place. Using the internet, we can do this. So this is the power of G Suite for Education. Okay, so let me stop sharing my screen. Let me read some quotations provided by our viewers. So The first line, the second row, I typed this one because this is what I like to share with my students and fellow educators. What is right is not always popular, and what is popular is not always right. So I want to share this with everyone because you know, sometimes we are pressured to do which is not really good, no? So parang walang hindi tayo kailangan magpa-pressure kung popular yon, but if we're not really into it, we don't have to force ourselves. Okay. Mukhang may nag-copy paste po. So, yan ang nangyayari ngayon po sa collaboration natin. People can work on the same document. Now, let me stop sharing my screen and let me have my slides back again. Okay. May I have my slides back, please? Okay. So, when I say collaboration, that's how it looks like, ano? So, hindi natin kailangan maging nasa isang area para makagawa ng document. And if you notice, we don't need to attach a document for others to edit it. That's the definition of collaboration when you talk about a collaboration. And when you talk about collaboration, that's how it happens in G Suite for Education. Okay? So, let me proceed now. Okay. Now, you can also meet using Google Meet. I think some of you are familiar what is Google Meet like, looks like. So it's similar to Zoom, it's similar to Messenger, Facebook Messenger, but with Google Meet, you can have up to 250 people at the same time. So this one is, so I'm the one in the middle. So this was a meeting of Google innovators around the world. So we just meet synchronously, so you can just exchange ideas. This is how it happens when you. So you can use Google Meet to conduct your online synchronous class. So this is what is happening when you use Google Meet. Okay. So that's one of the reasons why I advise that schools make use of G Suite for Education. Okay? Now, you might ask, ano ba yan? Ano-ano ba yung mga kasama sa G Suite for Education? So, let me introduce you to the things that that you will use if you will use G Suite for Education. First, we all know Google Chrome browser is very popular and most of you are using Google Chrome browser right now. Google Chrome browser works with Windows, works with Mac. You can put it in an iOS device. You can put it in an Android device. It works with Samsung or any brand. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, it is not dependent in any device, but it works in any device. So you know what's a browser, no? You browse the internet. That's it. Okay, pero maybe you'll ask, paano yon kung wala akong internet lagi? Paano yon kung mahina ang internet ko? Hindi na ako makakagamit yan. The misconception about Google Apps or G Suite for Education is that you need to be online all the time. But basically, you can work with Google Apps even if you are offline. Yes, you heard me correctly. Google Apps, some of the Google Apps work even if you are offline. Okay, so later I'll show you. Maybe I'll demonstrate some. Okay, so the browser, what you need is a browser, nothing else. Okay, but if you're using a mobile device, you need to download each app because a browser is what you use if you're using a desktop or a laptop, whether it's a Windows or Mac or Linux. So with regard to mobile devices, you just have to download them. For Android devices, it's pre-installed. Some of the apps are pre-installed. And for iOS devices, you can just download them. It's for free. So no problem. It's free. Okay. So the tools are given for free by Google. Now, what else? You have Gmail. A lot of you are using Gmail for sure. So there's more to just email. It's more than your email. You can use it for communicating with parents or with the school for the teachers. It's your way of communicating to the parents and the school to the stakeholders. You know? So it's a documented process already because since you're emailing, you don't delete the conversation because that will be your proof that you have informed them. Okay? So you can organize your email using Gmail. So if you have G Suite for Education, kasi sasabihin nyo, meron naman akong Gmail. So what is the difference between Gmail and G Suite for Education account? Take note that if you're using the at Gmail, that's fine. That's totally fine. But if you want to have, since you are all in the educational system or in the academe, we want to make it secure. So applying for a G Suite for Education account will, as a school, when you're granted, you will provide email addresses to all your students. And these email addresses will be used for official communication and official work of students or uh, school related function. So yun yung use ng Gmail ninyo, yung account ninyo, no? Next, another app is Google Meet. Yung kaninang nakita niyo maraming picture, that is Google Meet. So you can see face to face. You can conduct, you can do kumustahan, you can do a lot of things. You can present a slide or anything in on screen while at the same time seeing them on screen. Okay, so that is what Google Meet is for. Okay, and then we also have Google Calendar. Google Calendar looks very easy, but you can organize your appointments with parents. Kung kayo ay teacher, you can organize and inform everyone with the schedule. If you have an activity and you have to be there, you can attach document for the agenda of the meeting and or even slides. Anything that is digital can be attached in Google Calendar. And if you have a regular meeting, let's say monthly, you can do that automatically. Everyone is informed. Aside from being informed, everyone knows where to go because Google Calendar supplies the link on where to meet. So that's the use of Google Calendar and to make everything organized. So Google Calendar. Okay. Another app is Google Drive. So I don't know if everyone knows Google Drive, but Google Drive is your online storage. So it's not just online storage. It's more than your online storage. It is similar to Dropbox. If you're using Dropbox, it is similar to that, but it's more than that because your Google Drive stores everything. And when you double click your file in Google Drive, you can now edit that file. Whether it's a Word, Excel, or PowerPoint, that is the counterpart of Google Docs, Sheets, and Slides. So what is Docs, Sheets, and Slides? As I mentioned, it is the counterpart of Microsoft Word, yung color blue, Microsoft Excel, and Microsoft PowerPoint. So when I say counterpart, see Microsoft Office, you have to get a license. Diba? So what I like about Google is that you don't have to spend so much for licenses. You don't have to update your software. And then pag sinabi natin kasi mag-update tayo, you have to buy. When you buy, you're losing resources, ano? So it's not a wise investment when you purchase a licensed software and then you have to upgrade later on. Bakit si Google Docs, Sheets, and Slide ba hindi nag-update? Yes, nag-update siya. But when there's an update, automatic, it happens. You don't need to update because your Google Chrome browser automatically updates and you have the latest version. Everything is updated for you. Everything is latest, provided for you for free. Even if you're just using Gmail account, you can get the latest version of Docs, Sheets, and Slide. And these are just the basic apps that goes with G Suite for Education. Okay. It becomes more powerful if you use add-ons and extensions. Okay. So next will be Google Forms. So for a teacher, sige nga po, magtatanong po ako sa audience natin. For a teacher, pagkatapos natin mag-prepare, pagkatapos natin mag-implement, what do we prepare? Anong gagawin natin? Magpapa-quiz din tayo, nag-prepare tayo ng quiz, ano? So, when you conduct a quiz, pass na yan, how long do you spend checking them? Again, how long do you spend checking them? So maybe I'll encourage everyone, Let's say a 10-item quiz, objective type quiz. Madaling check na yung objective type, whether it's fill in the blank, multiple choice, true or false. How long do you spend checking, let's say, if you have four sections, ano? And for each section, you have around 40 students. So 4 times 4p is 160. How long do you spend checking the 160 students paper, yung na 10 items? How long do you spend? So, sige nga po. Can you tell me how long do you spend? By, let's say, 3 hours. Can you comment, please? Let me know how long do you spend when you check 160 papers with 10 items, objective type. Sige nga po. So please make a comment. Okay. Can I have my slides back, please? Okay, thank you. So when you use Google Forms, kahit na 160 students yan or kahit na 500 pa yan, you don't need to spend 5 minutes. You can automate checking your quizzes. Even, well, let's say if you want to automate it talaga, no, without reviewing the answers of the students, once they submit the Google form, they can get the result at once. So, ganun po ka-powerful si Google Form. So, nako, parang baka siguro ang fear ng mga karamihan sa inyo, hindi ako programmer. Hindi ko kaya mag-program. No, Google designed all the apps, which that is very easy to use. You just have to type the question and then identify the correct answer, and then you're done. Once they click submit, they will get a feedback instantly that they have, let's say if you gave them 10 items, you got 7 out of 10 items. So automatically it is sent to them. Now, if it's automatically if students are automatically informed, most probably sasabihin nyo, paano naman ako? No? Bilang guro, ang backend po niyan ay Google Sheet or yung tinatawag na spreadsheet. Nando na yung consolidated responses ng mga estudyante natin. And we can do now statistical analysis. For those who are taking MAs, ang daming problema, ang dami natin kailangan i-prepare, no? But even the statistical analysis and the graphs and the charts are provided for you by Google Form. Hindi nyo na siya gagawin. So that's how powerful Google Form is. And then we also have another one, Google Site. You can build a website in less than 10 minutes. Google Site is a very easy to use web builder to create websites. So what you need now is to have your own domain if you want to have your own domain. So when you say domain, you can just, let's say you have, in my case, I have my own domain, www.edtechandbeyond.com. So I purchased that. But kung ayaw kong gumastos, pwede naman din. You can create Google site pa rin. So you just give the URL, the longer URL, which is generic, and the only thing that is unique is your /view/ let's say edtech and beyond. Okay. So Google Sites can be created by anyone. The thing is, it's not so popular because Google does not waste money for advertisement. That is why you won't see so much advertisement by Google. They don't advertise, but what they do is they empower teachers to use it and let it be known by teachers by like this, having a webinar about G Suite for Education. I'm not being paid by Google to promote Google, but I am a user. I am a user of Google. That is why I can see the benefits of using G Suite for Education. That is why I'm personally recommending them. I am a Microsoft Office user specialist, but after discovering Google, I don't use Microsoft anymore because I don't want to purchase the licensed software because it's a waste of resources. So the Google site, you can build it on your own in less than 10 minutes. You will laugh once you know how to build the site. Madali lang po siya. Okay? All tools of Google are easy to use. And then now for distance learning, we have Google Classroom, no? So yung iba gumagastos pa ng LMS, magbabayad pa tayo. But Google Classroom is part of G Suite apps. Okay? Meron na kayong email, meron na kayong calendar, meron na kayong doc sheets, slides, meron na kayong Google Docs, meron na kayong Google Drive, meron pa kayong Google Site, tapos meron pa kayong Google Classroom. So Google Classroom is similar to the learning management system. So you don't have to waste money. Okay? Now, I think these are the basics of, these are the apps of G Suite for Education. Now, for those who are interested to acquire a free license for G Suite for Education, you may contact education at qsr.com.ph. And I have a YouTube channel. I do, well, kakasimula ko lang po kasi I saw the need for educators to learn G Suite. So I created the YouTube channel. It's www.youtube.com/edtechandbeyond. And I have my own website using Google Site. It's www.edtechandbeyond.com. You may email me if you have inquiries by using my email address edtechandbeyond@gmail. So that is G Suite for Education. So if you have a question, let me know po. Okay?
Sir Gary Garcia. So can I move on to question and answer portion? Is that right? So just a little reminder for our question and answer portion. Your questions, kindly type them anytime at the Q&A box here on the right side of your screen. We will accommodate as many questions as time permits. To ask a question in person, you will have to indicate first in the chat box that you would like to ask the question in person. And if you're acknowledged, please accept the invite and unmute your microphone and turn on your camera. Microphones will remain on mute and video cameras turned off until the opportunity to ask the question, given the opportunity to ask the question in person. So you could also raise your hand here, and then we'll acknowledge you and bring you on stage if you want to ask the question in person. We already have questions here. We're okay. We can start already, Sir Gary, for the questions.
Yes po.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So we have a question here from Mr. Apolio Pascual. How do we go about the offline editing in Google Apps?
Okay. To answer that, let me share my screen, okay? Because what you need to do to be able to make use of G Suite for G Suite offline is to set it using your Google Drive. So let me show my screen. Okay, so this is my Google Drive. So this is my storage. On the upper right corner, can you see it clearly? Ma'am Reggie, can you see my screen?
No, I don't see your screen yet.
Ano po ba ang nakikita natin ngayon?
Tayong dalawa lang. So we could click the screen here. There you go.
Okay. So, okay, this is my Google Drive. And for you to be able to work offline, okay, all you need to do is click the settings gear icon on the upper right corner. Ayan po, no? Just click it. Okay. And then you'll have the submenu. And then click settings again. And then here you go. We have, all you need to do now is check the checkbox offline. Okay. Check the checkbox offline. And then let me go zoom in again. And you will see here, convert uploads to Google Editor format. If you want automatically to convert your Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint to a Google Editor format. It's okay not to convert your Microsoft Office files, but still you can edit them. So let me look for, sige, maybe that's to answer the question of Sir Apollo. Tama po, Miss Reggie?
Yes, that's
Yeah,
right.
so that's how you turn it on. How you can just turn it on. Very simple, but allow it to have to synchronize your most recently edited files. Kasi hindi lahat ng files natin malalagay sa offline. Yung recently edited lang, or once you set this offline, you can still create new docs, sheets, and slides. This is the counterpart of Word, Excel, PowerPoint. So you can do that. Once you go to settings, and then settings again, and then just make sure to check this, convert, if you want to convert your existing files to Google Editor format, and if you want to work offline, just make sure to check this box and then click done. So give it some time, mga 5 minutes lang. And then after that, you can disconnect to the internet and create, edit your existing files. Ganun po.
Okay.
Okay, I'll
So
stop sharing my
I hope we
screen.
were able to answer that. Yeah, Sir Apollo. And then we have another question here from Eugene Kayanan. If an
Mhm.
institution decides to use it, how much would it cost?
Hmm. It's for free po. So you just
Yun
have
yung
to
maganda
apply.
doon.
Oo, yun po yung maganda ton. You have to apply. So for an institution, once you're granted a licensed G Suite for Education account, by default, you will get 10,000 accounts. Yan po. So it's for free.
Yeah. Yeah. The best answer of all. It's
Yes,
for free.
it's for free po.
So,
The account
there.
is
So
for free.
Meron, I don't know if we could do this, but can you please demo how to link Google Forms to worksheet from Miss Vivian David?
Okay, sige. Let me share maybe I will not anymore stop sharing my screen. Okay, I think we'll be doing a lot of demo. Okay.
Yeah.
So let me share my screen again. So let me know, Miss Reggie, if you can see my screen.
Not yet. Lalabas yan, sir.
Oh, okay na po ba, Ma'am Reggie?
No, it's not yet. It's not yet coming out.
Okay, so let's just wait. I will create a Google form,
Maybe
a blank Google form, ano? So to minimize time.
there. It's coming out now.
Okay, so I have a blank. I have a blank form now. So let's say I have name, and then let me put a title here, sample form. Okay, so for the name, it should be short answer. Okay, so let's say I'll ask another question. Let's say gender, and then another one, let's say email address. Email. Yan. So I'll ask, so I have a form para po ma-answer natin yung question, paano nililink? Once you're done with the form and you have shared all the link to everyone, all you need to do is, okay, let me fill out this form. Okay, let me fill out this form so we know that, let's say Gary. Okay, and I forgot to edit the gender. Let me go back to the design view. Let me leave this one, and then if you notice when I type, let me go back to this field. When I type gender, I have options here. All I need to do is click them. Okay, so I don't have to type them. Okay, so let me fill out the form, and then let's say Gary, and then I'll click mail, and then let's say edtech and beyond at gmail.com. I will submit this. The question is, how do you link the form? Okay, so this is the form, the live form. This is the design form. If you will notice here, there's responses one. Kasi kakatapos ko lang po mag-fill out ng form. So all I need to do now is click the responses tab, and this is the symbol for spreadsheet. Once you click it, since this is the first time that I created this form and I want to see the back end, so if you want to see the individual entries, it's here. So kung meron pong dalawang nag-fill out, makikita po natin dito using individual. Okay, let me enter another entry before I show how it looks like. Let's say Maria, she's a female. And then let me invent an email address, maria@gmail.com. So this is the live form. I'll close this one. This is the design view automatic. You have two responses. I am now in the individual tab. So this is the one of two. So this is my entry. Next will be two of two. That is Maria, female, and then Maria. If I want to see the summary of all responses, you'll get the summary. You have one male and one female. This is the chart that I was referring to earlier. Automatically, this is created for me. I did not create this. So all I need to do to make use of it is to copy the chart. So any changes in the chart, automatic. If I put it in my slide, it will automatically reflect. The question of our viewers now is, how do you link? This is how we link. We just click this one, and then we create a spreadsheet. If this is your first time to see to create the form, dun lang po kayo mag-create. But right now, you will see on my screen, ito po yung mga tinype ko kanina. So nasa spreadsheet na siya, automatic nakalink. Okay? Now, let's say, para sabihin natin nakalink talaga, no? I'll click the, oops, cancel. I'll click the preview again. I'll click the preview, and then I'll fill out the form again. So you will see that it is working properly. Let's say John, and then mail, and then let's say john@gmail.com. Submit. Okay. So automatic, when I go to the spreadsheet, there you go. It's automatically reflected. Very, very simple on how to link. How to link again is you just click this button. So that is called the spreadsheet, or the symbol for Google Sheet. So I think that's the answer. Very,
Okay.
very simple to use.
So there, no? So we don't really have to be so techy to be able to do
Yes,
this, sir.
yes.
Okay.
Kasi sabi ko po kanina, Google Design, alam po ni Google na busy ang teacher at hindi na niya kaya wala siyang time mag-aral ng mga technical things. Ano? So Google made all apps very user-friendly.
All
Ayan.
right. So yeah, so there's a question here. I haven't tried Google Classroom. This is from JR John Soriano. So my
Mhm.
question is, will I be able to share my screen to my audience?
Yes, Google Classroom, kanina sabi natin yung isang app ni Google ay Google Meet, ano? Google Meet is a built-in app doon sa Google Classroom. So if you have a Google Classroom, andun na rin si Google Meet. So you will use Google Meet to show your classroom or kung ano mang slide presentation meron ka. It's all integrated because they are by Google. All apps is integrated. So you can, yes, you can present to your class using Google Meet even if you're inside Google Classroom.
Yeah. If I may add to that question on the Google Classroom. So like of course you've been hearing also a lot, as you've mentioned earlier, some schools are using very expensive learning management systems, LMS. So how is this different? How can we say that it's comparable to say an LMS that boasts that it has the bells and the whistles? So
Mm.
how do we compare Google Classroom?
Um, because I really haven't used the paid one because with Google Classroom, I'm satisfied. So I did not explore it anymore. I heard a lot of LMS which are good, including the feedbacking for parents. So you can also do that using Google Sheet and Google Form. So I really can't compare other LMS, but why am I, bakit ko ina-advise siya? Kasi happy ako as a teacher. My students are, the parents of my students before in Poveda are very demanding, but I was able to provide them answers, inform them right after the quiz. I will email the students, naka-CC yung parents. I can do that. So all the parents are well informed right after the quiz if I intend to inform them at once. So during the PTC, wala na akong problem. So, hi sir, so how are you? Ganun na lang kami. Hindi na yung nagugulat yung parent pag PTC. Bakit ganito grade na anak ko? Ano magagawa natin? Yung mga galit dyan. Ano pa magagawa natin ngayon? Tapos na, nagawa na ang grade. So wala akong experience na gano'n. So I did not explore other LMS because I was able to use it well. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Though. So why spend when something that is very accessible works very well? That's
Yes.
yeah. You mentioned also, sir, as you were talking about Google Classroom. So you mentioned Google Meet, no? So there's a question here from Maria Luz Maringal. I have used Google Hangouts before. What is
Mhm.
the difference of Google Meet with Google Hangouts?
Google Hangout is for a few people. Parang Messenger, konti lang kayo makakapag-usap. That's the function of Google Hangout. So you can do chat, ganyan. Parang Messenger lang. While Google Meet is for a big group of people, up to 250 people at the same time. And ayun, so you can present for a group of, for a big group. So the main difference is the number. So Hangouts, you cannot present something, but you can send photos, videos, yan. While in Google Meet, okay, you cannot send via chat yung photos and videos, but you can show them, you can present your photo or video presentation using Google Meet. So that's the difference. The number and yung sa chat kasi ng Hangout, you can send images and videos. While in Google Meet, you don't because you can present it naman.
So yun, no?
That's the
So
main.
Google Meet is really for bigger groups and really for you to be able to present as well on screen what you want to present. No? So it would
Yes.
facilitate more classroom setting in Google Meet.
Kasi si Hangouts, you cannot present. Yeah. So that's the difference.
There's a question here from Krishna Faith Budias. Does it require a Gmail account? Do you require a Gmail account for every student to be able to use G Suite?
Okay. If you acquire G Suite for Education account, the school will provide the account. That is the use of the 10,000 licenses when your school is provided with the license for your school, no? So yung Gmail, you can use that also, but it's a personal account. As a school, you want to have full control kung saan nila ginagamit yung email nila, no? So if you use at gmail.com, let's say you require your students to use at gmail.com, and then let's say na-hack yung kanilang email account, the school doesn't have control over the account. But if the school provided the students with a G Suite account, the school has control. In the admin console, merong control yun para ma-wipe out lahat ng, ma-protect yung estudyante, makuha yung kanyang information doon. So that's the difference between the two. The school has a full control over the account because you will provide the email address compared to a personal Gmail account. So halimbawa, ang domain nyo is at school.edu.ph, ano? So hindi siya ang gagamitin ng estudyante, let's say Gary at school.edu.ph, hindi Gary at gmail.com. So ang mahalaga lang, isa sa mga requirement if you apply for a G Suite for Education account, you need to have a domain name. That's one of the requirements po. So that's the difference between Gmail and an Edu account.
Yeah, maybe in relation to that, no, so there's a question here by Arthur Soriano. What is the difference of just using your personal Google account with that of a Google account with your own unique domain in accessing G Suite for Education? Di ba pwedeng yung Google account na lang?
So meron pong Gmail account na personal, tama po?
Yes.
Tapos meron pong
what's the difference with that of a Google account with their own unique domain accessing G Suite for Education? Or you already use your personal Google account? Ganun ba? Do you still need to set up a different Gmail account?
Kung meron po kayong Gmail account at meron din po pala kayong Edu account, there's a big difference. You are using the same apps. That's very, very similar. But the features are better when you have Edu account. Number one, if you're using a Gmail account, you only have 15 gig of storage combined, no? But if you're using an Edu account, you have unlimited storage. So
Mm.
that's the main difference.
Na-free pa rin,
Okay?
sir. Na-free pa
Yes,
rin.
yes, because it's an Edu
Okay.
account. That's the main difference. A personal Gmail is free. An Edu account is free. But the difference, mainly for storage, personal, you get 15 gigabyte.
Yeah.
For an Edu account, you have unlimited. So that's just one. For another difference is that if you're using Google Meet is now available for Gmail for personal, but only until September. But
Ah,
after September, it's still available for an Edu account. So kasi ginawa lang nilang free ngayon yung mga paid versions. When I say paid versions, ito yung mga ginagamit ng corporate. So ano naman yung free account na for education? Kasi yung pag education nga libre, pero pag sa corporate na gagamitin, meron na siyang bayad. So you don't waste money for infrastructure. Ang kailangan nyo lang devices because it works in any device. And you don't need yung mga cabling pa kasi yung mga file server, wala na kayong ganon. So, ang laking menos. That's one. Ang laking menos sa file server, ang laking menos sa installation ng software kasi you don't buy licensed software. You don't need to update licensed software because if you're using G Suite, you need Google Chrome browser and it's free. Yun po. Ay pong difference pa. Yeah.
I hope we were able to answer that question. Yeah, it's very interesting. From Miss Sharon Rose Paremi, is there an annotate button in Google Meet like in Zoom? Yeah, one of the other popular meeting platforms. If there is none, what can we use in Google Meet so that my students can annotate on my shared activity live on screen?
Okay. Kanina po ang sabi ko ay when you present to a class, you can make use of Google Meet. And in Google Meet, you can present your Google slide. In your Google slide, you can annotate. Yun po ang counterpart niya. Kasi Zoom, I don't use Zoom kasi takot ako sa may issue ako about security. So I don't recommend them sa schools. So what you can use is Google Meet and then present your slide, and then in slide you have a pointer, you can scribble. Yeah. So I think that's my answer for that one. Google Slide can annotate, put it in Google Meet. So there you go.
Okay. So we have more questions coming in. What is this? There's a question here. I've tried applying now. There's a charge of $12 a year for the domain name. Did I do it right, or did I make a mistake in the registration process?
As I mentioned earlier, Google for Education account is free. The domain name is a requirement. So it must be, the school should have a domain name. Yun po. So kung meron na po kayong existing domain, ipapasa nyo lang po yung domain name niyo. So hindi ko po alam, baka po yung domain name, kung bibili pa lang po kayo ngayon, talagang magbabayad po kayo. So domain name is not, it can be by Google, it can be by other domain provider po. Pwede po yun. So, but the account itself is for free.
How long is the process in applying for a domain name? We sent requests 2 weeks ago. We haven't received any feedback. We have limited students only since we are in a seminary setting. So that's from Miss Ruby May Castro.
Ang question po, again, kanino po kayo
How long
nag-apply ng
does it,
domain?
yeah,
Hindi,
shouldn't that be immediate?
Yung domain, tama po Ma'am Reggie, yung domain name po ang ina-apply nila.
Opo daw.
Yung domain name po kasi, kanino po kayo nag-apply ng domain? Anong entity po? Baka po hindi sa Google, pero pwede rin po sa Google.
Yeah.
So, yun po. With the length of time, dapat po mabilis lang yan.
Oh, and that should be almost immediate.
Almost immediate eh. Yun po. Baka
So
po yung,
Yes, sir, go ahead.
When you apply for a G Suite for Education, it may take around 2 weeks kasi lalo na po ngayon medyo tumagal po dahil ang dami po nag-a-apply kasi libre naman po. So around 2 weeks po for the G Suite for Education account.
Okay. So there are some questions here that they're asking if there would be more training in the future in terms of like how to really in the details of how to use the Google Classroom, how to link the Google Classroom to Google Meet. We will do that, sir, right? In our
Opo,
future
pero hindi po ganun
Talk Talk
ka-detailed.
online sessions.
Pwede naman po, pero hindi po
Okay.
ganun ka-detailed kasi normally I conduct training for the entire for the G Suite for Education 6 days. Ano po 'yun? 6 days, 6 sessions, mga 3 hours per session po. But for a face-to-face, it's 3 whole days po. So, ano po, for the coming sessions, it's basically, I'll show you how to do things. Yung mga nasa channel ko na rin po, yun po yung mga ipapakita ko. Or katulad po ng tanong kanina, how do you link? You ask me and then I'll show you. Because if we will discuss everything, I don't think the time is not enough. Yun po. But we will do demonstration, a lot of demonstration in the future, in the coming webinars.
There was also a question here regarding Google Classroom. If it also has analytics or reporting.
Meron po, meron po. Yung analytics po kasi, ang back-end po ng Google Classroom, lahat ng nasa Google Sheet din po. In Google Sheet, we have several add-ons that you can instantly create analytics. But if you're familiar with functions, spreadsheet functions, you can use functions to do analytics. But there are add-ons that you can install in Google Sheet so you can have automated. Like say, Flubaru is one of the add-ons for Google Sheets. It automatically gives you the analytics. But as a teacher, you have to answer first the form para magawa niya yon. So add-ons are third-party apps, but allowed by Google to be used in Google Sheet to make Google Sheets more powerful. So these add-ons are usually created by teachers and other companies. So yun po. So we just have to look at which one is for education.
Okay. We have here a question from Miss Maria Luz Maringal. I hope you can make a blog. I'm not sure. Baka you already have this in your YouTube channel. On how to link the Google meeting schedule to your calendar and send instruction to your students' email, just like the email you've sent us, wherein the link of the meeting is sent, etc.
Opo. Yun po, combination na kasi yan ng Google Meet at saka calendar. Pero napakadali lang po niyan, ano? Maybe we can demonstrate now, Miss Reg, kasi
yes, sure.
Ang kailangan po ay link ng Google Meet, tama po ba?
Yes po, yun yating kanyang.
Okay.
Let's go back.
So let me show Miss Reg, can you see po my screen, ano? You can see po my screen? Okay, let me get my calendar. Let me go to my calendar. So I'll just click, or I can type calendar. Ako po ay ma-keyboard, kaya instead of clicking the app launcher, I type calendar.google.com. Okay, so I have a calendar. And then let's say I will click this one. I will click a new appointment, ano? So let's say sample meeting. And then to create a video conference, ito lang po. And then I'll click add Google Meet. And then let's say I will add myself, ano? I will add EdTech and beyond, or my email. Let's say GEG Ortigas, because I'm part of GEG Ortigas. And then I'll click save. When I click save, automatic, it will ask me, would you like to send an invitation email to calendar guest? Isa-send ko na lang po yun, no? Ngayon po, marireceive na yan as calendar invite. And then, provided na rin po yung link. Napakasimple po. Ganun lang po siya.
Okay. So, kailangan talaga, you do parang you experiment. Don't be afraid to experiment and see what happens.
Yes.
But I think Yeah, basic
Because, Fred,
question
baka
is how
magtaka
to
sila,
apply.
no? Baka magtaka sila. Ang itsura ng Google Meet, eto na lang. So, pag nakita mo yung calendar mo or yung email mo, ito rin yung marireceive mo. All you need to do now is click join meeting or join meet, and you will now go to the meeting. And then, what you need to do now is just click the join button. Ganun lang siya. Napaka-simple. Napaka-simple.
So
Yun po.
my question here, how to
Yes.
apply for G Suites for education? Do you have to get an institution or any simple teacher can apply for G Suites for education?
Um, for teachers po, I recommend you talk to your admin. The school should apply for it. Kasi it's the entire school na ina-apply natin when we apply for G Suite for education. Hindi po siya individual, ano? The school will provide everything. So, si school admin po dapat ang mag-a-apply, hindi po yung teacher. Or kung halimbawa, si teacher naman po yung representative ng school on behalf of the school. So, yun po. Pwede na po. Pero individual, no. It's not an account given to an individual teacher. No. It is an
Okay.
account provided to a school. So,
Oh,
kaya nga po 10,000 accounts ang ibibigay ka agad sa school. Ano? Kaya kahit na maliit lang po kayo yung school, meron na kayong 10,000 accounts. So, ibig sabihin, if your population is 1,000, okay, you have 1,000 accounts for students. So, tapos meron kayong teacher, let's say 100 yon, di 1,100. So, magbigay din kayo ng license, ng email account for parents para iyon ang official communication ninyo with the parents. Kasi baka mamaya kung sino-sino email yung dumadating, ano? So, we supply then the parents kung maliit lang yung population nyo. Kasi kapag ganon, ibig sabihin, kilala niyo na agad yung parent. You don't need to memorize the name. Just the first few letters lang, mag-a-appear na yung account niya. Compared to using Gmail, kapag hindi edu account, you need to know the entire email address. Yun po ang isa pang difference ng free na personal at saka free na G Suite for Education account. So to answer the question, the school should apply for it, not an individual teacher.
so maybe a continuing question to that, but by Sir Patrick James. He says here, our school was recently approved for free G Suite for education. Do I need to ask my teachers and students for each to have their own Gmail accounts?
Hindi na po. Kasi si school admin po, kung sino man po yung parang sa management information system, yung sa admin console nila, ang nakaka-handle, siya po yung mag-supply ng email address para sa lahat. So meron po kasi depende po sa decision ng admin, ng school administrator, gusto nyo gawin yung first name, last name, at domain name. So, yun po yun. So, si school mismo ang magbibigay. Hindi na po kailangan ng Gmail address niyo kasi si school na nga po ang magbibigay.
Okay. So how is that? If they get to the school applies, is there a criteria that Google for Education looks for them to be able to get all of these tools for them to be able to access Google for Education? Is there a criteria that the schools have to meet?
Number one, you have to be accredited by DepEd. Second, you need to have a domain name. Yun po yung initial, yun lang po yung alam ko. Kasi with the application process, I pass them to the technical people. For more details, you can email po education@qsr.com.ph kasi sila po yung nag-handle nun. What I do is more on training, how to apply these tools in the classroom, in your preparation, in your assessment, para mas mabilis na po ang trabaho natin bilang guro. So, yung details po ng application, ang alam ko lang po, basta dapat initially, you have a domain name as a school and you are parang legal school. Ibig sabihin, meron kayong accreditation, yung school number coming from DepEd. Yun po yung some of the requirements.
So again, so maybe we could repeat that. So I think that's very important because we have questions. Ayun, wala. How do they apply now? How can the school apply for G Suite for Education? How much it
Ayun
costs?
po,
Free nga na, sir. It's free.
free. Okay,
But
free
how?
po,
How will they
yung-
apply?
Okay. So, to apply, please email education@qsr.com.ph. Maybe we can show the yung kanina, yung slide ko po. Andun po yung email address. So, you email the email address, yung education@qsr.com.ph, kasi po sila na yung may template na. So, all you need to do is fill it out. And then they will facilitate the acquisition of G Suite for Education account for your school. It's free. Yung account po ay libre. Ang hindi po libre doon ay yung training. So,
Mhm.
you can, if you have a tech guy, may tech-savvy teachers, yung mga computer teachers niyo, you can let them study and then go ahead, train other teachers in your school. You don't have to be trained by us. But, yun po, medyo matatagalan lang po pag baka hindi nyo alam lahat yung sagot. That is why we train them. Since, sabi ko nga po kanina, ang gagastosan lang naman po dyan ng school ay yung training. Ang yung training kasi naman po, hindi po kami pwedeng mabuhay mga trainers without pay, We're not being paid by Google po. Yan.
So yun. So that's why if you're interested not to have a specific training for your schools, you could get in touch with Mr. Gary Garcia and he could
Opo.
come up with a training module that would fit the needs of your school. Kasi syempre, each school would have a different requirement, would have a different
Mhm.
setup. So the um, need to fit
We tailor
a
for the,
customized
the
training
training.
module can be prepared for your school, for your
Yeah.
respective schools.
Opo.
Yun. There's a question here, another question. This is about the Google Forms. Will it be
Okay.
possible to use Google Forms with schedule, time limit, due date?
Google Forms. There are add-ons. For example, you want to, let's say I created a form, Let me go back to the form. Let's say I have here a sample form. Okay. Let me check it again. Let me open the previous form. There you go. So I have here a sample form. Yung kanina pong ginawa ko. So this is the form. Let's say you will inform your students, okay, you can only fill out the form until a specific date and time. There is an add-on po. Okay. Let me make it smaller. Meron po tayong, let me refresh lang po, Medyo bumabagal po yung aking internet. So Google Forms does not work if you are offline. Ang gumagana po pag offline is Google Docs, Sheets, Slides, and Drawing, and your Google Drive. But, yun po. So, all you need to do is get an add-on. When you get an add-on, this add-on is for free. Ang tawag po sa ating add-on ay Form Limiter. Yan po. Si Form Limiter. All you need to do now install this form limiter. So click it. In my case, since it's already, it's not yet installed pala. So I have a different account. So all you need to do is install it. And then let's continue. And then I'll just allow I will allow the app to manage my Google Drive. So once it is installed, ayan po, naka-install na siya, nag-install na siya ngayon, ini-install po niya yan sa account natin. Ini-install po niya sa account, hindi po sa computer, kundi sa account. Once it's installed, you can now make use of it. Ayan, sabi po niya, naka-install na daw. So once it's installed, let me go
Can you
back.
share your screen, sir?
Ay, sorry. Hindi ko
We're not seeing.
Okay. Sorry. Let me share again my screen. Okay, let me share my screen. So when you install the form limiter, so I have it here. Let me close this one. Let me go back to the form. So I have this form, and then I have this symbol now for add-on. Okay, so I'll click the add-on, and I will just say, click ko si form limiter, and then I will set the limit, and then I'll say, okay, the deadline of this one is at 4 o'clock today. So all I need to do is select. Tignan niyo po ang mga options niyo. Ang options po natin is, meron po tayong date and time, number of responses, or spreadsheet cell value. So kung date po ang concern natin, just identify when is the date. Let's say today, May 29 at 5 p.m. po. So PM 5 and then 00, and then set, and then save and enable. So later at 5 p.m., this form will automatically disabled. Ibig sabihin, kung manual po yung process ng pag-disable natin, parang tinurn off nyo na po yung ito, accepting responses, not accepting responses. But instead of you visiting this part, you can automatically do that using the form limiter po. Okay, yung form limiter, ang pangalan niya ay form limit add-on na form limiter po ang name. So, yan po.
Okay. So another question here, I think this is a concern for everybody, especially us here in the Philippines. How strong internet connection would be needed for Google Classroom? Is 10 Mbps or 5 Mbps enough?
Okay, yun po maganda sa Google, ano? Kasi po, I'm a Mac user, pero ang ginagamit ko po ay, Google Apps. I have an Android phone because very, very low consumption po ang consumption ng Google Apps. So, a 5 Mbps will do. But if you're using a Mac, tapos yung isa po ay gumagamit ng Chromebook, pareho kayong 5 Mbps, ano? Mas mabilis pa rin si Chromebook. Kasi po, si Chromebook ay ang operating system po niya ay gawa ni Google. So, mas mabilis pa rin po yun kasi Chromebook po yun. Kasi ang ginagamit ko po ngayon ay Mac, ano? So, iba po rin po yung operating system niya. Malaki po yung consumption niya. Pero I'm still using a Google Chrome browser. So, 5 Mbps will do. Pero depende po sa operating system niya pa rin. So, what is Chromebooks? These are laptops designed for education. So, ibig po sabihin, pag design po sa education, alam po ng Google yung limitation, it works offline, you don't have to set it. Yun po yung isa pang advantage niya. You don't have to set it if you're using Chromebooks. Chromebooks are supplied for education only. It's not available here in the Philippines. Yung, bibili ako ng Chromebook, punta ako ng mall. Hindi po siya available. It's only available for education. For those with G Suite for Education account. Yan po. So, 5 Mbps, yes.
Okay, so pwede na yung 5 Mbps.
Opo.
It's going to run.
Yes.
Okay. So, there's a question here. There's a concern for, do you think Google Classroom would be applicable even for preschoolers?
Okay. Maraming pong tanong na ako natanggap na ganyan, ano? Ang ano po kasi, ang magiging modality po ng ating pag-aaral ngayon ay distance learning na, no? Pag distance learning, gagamit tayo ng technology. For preschoolers, Google Classroom is a bit complicated for them. Kasi number one, they don't know yet how to read. They don't know yet how to operate a computer. So ako po ay may play school, kami po mag-asawa. So what we did is, we asked the parents to assist them. Paano assist? Ang ginagawa po namin, may Google Meet po kami, doon kami nagkaklase. We asked the parents to turn on the computer, to log in, to go to the Google Meet, and that's it po, no? Another assistance that we ask from parents is to turn on the microphone or to turn off the microphone. Kasi po, pag lahat naka-on ang camera, ang microphone, ang ingay na po niyan. So the role of the parents now is just to turn on, turn off the camera. So we are being challenged yung creativity po ng teacher. So paano nga po yun sa preschool? So assisted po sila ng adult, whether parents or yaya, just make sure that they know how to operate the computer. Kasi nga po, toddlers or preschool ito, hindi po nila ma-operate ang computer. So what we do there is we do the same thing. We exercise, we play a video, we dance together, we cut paper. So now when you cut, you just need an external camera. So you can see yung external camera, yun yung naka-flash ngayon. Tapos you do the activity, you do the step-by-step procedure on how to do things. So yun po. Kaya naman po ng preschool, pero with adult supervision na.
Okay. So there. So what do you think? What grade would Google Classroom be applicable that students can already independently work with and doing Google Classroom and being be a participant of that setup?
Um, ang anak ko po ay grade 4, yung akin pong bunso, and I think he can. Kasi po, na medyo na-equip naman din po ng school. Kasi meron pong ibang school na wala pang computer education ang grade 4. So, magkakaiba rin po. Depende po yan sa foundation, sa binigay na foundation ng school. Kung maaga pa lang, grade 1 pa lang, meron ng computer. So, natututo na sila mag-login, ganun pa lang, no? Tapos mag-click, click, click. So, depende po kung gaano kaaga in-expose ng school ang bata sa technology. So, wala po talagang specific grade.
No. So they have to assess, no? They have to assess their
Yes. Their
students.
curriculum po for computer education, if they have computer education or ICT.
Mhm. So there's a question here from Ms. Abigail Bartolome. Can we have the email addresses again where they can apply for the G Suite? I think what yon, madaming nagko-question nung where to apply
Amen.
G Suite.
Sige po. Medyo i-flash ko na lang po dito, mama, para po, ano. So, let me create docs.new. And so, if I just type bocs.new to create a new document. That's how simple it is to create a new Google document. So this is like Microsoft Word, a very simple interface, but very powerful. Okay. So education, oops, sorry, education at qsr.com.ph. So this is the email address if you want to apply, if you want to know more about, uh, if you want to know more the requirements about G Suite for Education account. So that's the email. Now, if you kanina po nagtanong din baka meron daw meron na po akong YouTube channel. It's EdTech and Beyond. Yan. So, let me change lang po the orientation so it doesn't get cut. So, ito po, kung makikita niyo yung environment ni Google Docs, it's the old Microsoft Word, old Microsoft Words. Kaya hindi po kayo mawawala. Very simple ang itsura niya, but very powerful. A lot of things. I have here in my YouTube video, sino po ang, Ma'am Reggie, I think na nakapag-research ka na, Nag-create ka ng research paper. Tapos, meron tayo sa bandang unahan ng research paper natin, table of contents, di ba? Di ba, ma'am? Ma'am, gano'n niyo po katagal ginawa yung table of contents na yan?
Actually, yun ang hinuli ko. Bago ko
Yun po. Alam niyo ba, Ma'am Reggie, in less than 5 seconds, you can create table of contents if you format everything properly. So that's how it is, how easy it is to create table of contents. Citing of sources, Ma'am Reggie, let's say APA format, how do you cite sources? Madali ba siya? Nagsa-cite ka ba?
No.
No, di ba? Paano yun, di ba?
Mahirap.
Ako po hindi ko alam din, but using Google technology, Google Docs, I can cite sources in less than 5 seconds also. You can find these videos in my YouTube channel. Nandun po lahat yan, yung sa form. So mga snippets po. My tutorial videos are very short, mga 5 minutes, minsan may 2 minutes pa, kasi alam ko wala pong oras ang mga teacher mag-aral. Pero ipinapakita ko po doon, ganun lang siya kadali. Pag-create ng table of contents, pag-cite ng sources. So you may visit my YouTube channel, youtube.com/edtech and beyond. Kasi po, nandyan na po lahat. Well, hindi po nandyan lahat kasi I just started this channel last March kasi, yung klase ko, paano yan? So, nag-create ako ng demo video. So, yung klase, estudyante ko ngayon kasi alam ko, hindi naman lahat merong internet. So, minsan lang sila may internet. So, I cannot conduct synchronous classes. So, I recorded a video and then I just applied the link to the Google Classroom, and then they watch the video at their own available time. So ang deadline ko lang every week. Yung time, alam mo, may assignment ako ngayon. So the deadline for that is 1 week. So at least every week meron silang routine na may assignment si sir for sure. So they can do it anytime they like within the week. Kasi yan yung mangyayari sa atin ngayon.
Yeah, maybe sir, you could also put there type there where they can get in touch with you in case they would like to have customized training for their specific for their particular schools, for their
Ah,
respective schools.
opo, ayan. So, ito po yung aking email address. Yan. Okay. Okay. So, edtech and beyond. This is my email
Okay.
address, edtech and beyond. So, para po, if you want to have a customized training for your school, just email me po at edtechandbeyond. Yan po. Meron din po akong website, pero siguro po, kasi hindi ko pa po naayos yung website ko, but let me put it there. Kasi po, ako po ay, I also join other, for as an educator, medyo para po tayo matuto, kailangan po mag-attend tayo ng PD, ng professional development, but medyo limited po yung dito sa atin, especially with regard to the use of technology, integrating technology in the classroom, medyo limited po. So, marami, doon po sa YouTube channel ko, nandun din po yung iba pang pinupuntahan kong webinars. I am collaborating with other teachers around the world. Every Thursday night, hashtag Thursday PD. You can look for it in YouTube. So I learn from them, we learn from each other. So that's a dialogue between teachers and at the same time parents.
Okay. So there's a question here, so if you could give the tips on what add-ons could they use to be able to have a more interactive interactive class, no, using Google Classroom.
Interactive class using Google Classroom. Okay, wala po akong add-ons na binibigay sa Google Classroom. But for, let's say, Google Slide, use Peer Deck. Peer Deck is, it makes things way beyond the power of Microsoft PowerPoint. Ayan po. It's an add-on, Peer Deck.
Peer Deck.
Opo. So, sulat ko rin po siya dito. So, Peer Deck. So, for presentation, yeah, you just type the name of the add-on. So, this is for Google Slide, Google Slide. And that's the add-on for Google Slide, Peer Deck, to make it more interactive. And for each app po kasi, may kanya-kanya silang add-ons that makes it more powerful.
So again, sir, if, for example, if they're interested to have a training for their schools, how long will the training take, and will it be available online? Because as we all know, we cannot have a big gathering, so most likely the training would be done online.
Online, opo. Okay, so during the trainings, it's usually one sitting of 5 sessions. Okay, per session, it's 3 hours po. So that's the usual training that I conduct now online. But in a normal situation, if we can have face-to-face training, 3 days po iyon, na whole day. 3 hours in the morning, 3 hours in the afternoon. Pero ngayon po, kasi ang need na, kaya kung magtataka ko, ba't mas mahaba yung online? Di ba mas mahirap? Mas mahaba yung on-site. Kasi po, yung training na ginagawa namin ngayon ay para ma-i-address yung needs ng teachers to conduct distance learning or distance education. So, we customize everything again. So, para po, kasi mahaba naman po kapag ang gagawin natin ay 8 training days, at saka mas magastos din po yun. So, the 5 training session with 3 hours per session would enable teachers to be not just familiar, but be equipped with G Suite for Education tools.
Okay.
Ang kailangan po lang sa participants, kanya-kanya pong internet talaga kasi kanya-kanya mong bahay tayo, at highly recommend, dapat po talaga laptop or desktop ang gamit. Kasi po yung iba, sinabi ko na po ganoon, meron pong gumagamit ng tablet, may gumagamit po ng smartphone sila, hindi po pwede. Makikinig lang po kayo. Wala po kayong hands-on experience. For us to learn something, especially these digital tools, you need to do hands-on. So included po sa training yung hands-on din.
So yeah, so for trainings like this, as you've said, we need to have, and especially um, um, technology, no, so as what we espouse in Salesiana Books, experiential learning. You really,
Yes.
for you to be able to learn, you should be hands-on and be able to navigate all of these buttons yourself. So
Mm.
there, I think we're going to fill in now the our last question. Um, does Google Meet use more bandwidth when using video conferencing? This is from Mr. Ronald Ryan Hermoso.
Opo. Magandang question po yan. So, the reason, kasi karamihan po, Zoom, ano? Actually, Google Meet consume less.
Yeah, yeah.
But, let's say, less na nga, mabagal pa rin. You can customize po. Let me demonstrate how to, uh, para po mas mababa pa ang consumption ng Google Meet, ano? So, let me start a meeting, and let me join the meeting, ano? So, pwede pong pagpasok nyo pa lang, iset nyo na po kaagad. Or pag pumasok na kayo, nakikita nyo naman yung screen ko, ano? Ma'am, Reggie, nakikita nyo po yung aking screen? Ayan, okay. I think you can see my screen. So, to set para mas less consumption pa siya, you just click bago po kayo pumasok, more options button, and then click settings, and then, nakaharang mo ito, okay? You will see po the video. The video po is very important. Ayan po, nasa 360 po ako ngayon. Automatic siya kasi medyo
Still
mabagal
loading,
po
sir.
internet ko. Ma'am Reg, ayan po yung settings lang. To select, kung maganda internet nyo, 720. Kapag mabagal, 360. Pati po yung resolution, babaan nyo lang din po para less yung consumption niya. Okay? Yan po yun. So, yung sagot po doon, kung mabagal po
Okay.
talaga ang internet natin, we can make it lower pa, consume lower. But compared to Zoom, it consumes lower than Zoom, yung normal na. Kasi po may iba't ibang settings po siya.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So there, I think we were able to answer all the questions that were sent here. Thank you very much, sir. This has been a very productive afternoon, and I'm sure our audience is looking forward to more sessions with you. Any last tip or last parting words before we end the session, sir?
Okay po, no? Um, right now, meron pong kasabihan na technology won't replace teachers. Narinig niyo na po ito, no? Technology won't replace teachers. But at this time, this pandemic, teachers will be replaced by teachers who can use technology better. Yun po.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. We are looking forward to having you again in the next 2 weeks. No? So thank you very much for being our facilitator for today. And again, so for everybody who would like to know more about Google Education and Google for Education, Google Suites, you may visit Mr. Garcia's YouTube channel. It's EdTech and Beyond. And just look for EdTech and Beyond in YouTube. Again, thank you very much, Sir Gary. And then thank you also everybody for being with us this afternoon, for spending your time with us this afternoon. And we look forward to having you again with our Chalk Talk Online in the future. Maybe we could show our next Chalk Talk online sessions in the very near future. Next week we have a lot actually. So let's just show you our Chalk Talk our sessions for the in the next week. There you go. For June 3, let's go this coming Wednesday. we'll have the second installment of our Chalk Talk online session with the University of the Philippines Open University. So the topic is learning continuity plans in the time of COVID-19 pandemic, strategic planning for remote teaching and learning. So this is very good for school administrators. And then on June 5, Friday, we will have the launch of Chef Series. This is the Christ Evangelization Faith Series. This is a webinar. So this webinar is going to be a very interesting program, especially at this time of educational disruption. So this is going to be a very interesting session. So don't miss that. So again, on June 12th, Sir Gary is going to join us again. This time the topic is setup of an educator teaching online. So I'm sure there'd be more details that you would want to know on how to apply Google for Education. No? So this would be a very good session as well. And then again on June 17, it's going to be another session with the University of the Philippines Open University remote teaching and learning sessions. The topic is learning resources for remote instruction and open educational resources. And then on June 19, another session with our Chef series, Christ, Evangelization, and Faith series, focusing on faith formation in the new normal. So we have a lot of Chalk Talk online sessions in store for you. So just go visit our Facebook page for updates and to register, as well as go get in touch with your SalesianaBooks account executives for you to be able to get your exclusive slots and your exclusive links for the future Chalk Talk online sessions. And other reminders, after this session, please, so that we would be able to see. We are happy that you have spent your time with us today, and we look forward to seeing you again next time. Thank you and have a good day. Stay safe, everyone.
Quality education through quality textbooks.